gives you a good sense of the old structure of the Highline before it was refurbished. This is 10th Avenue and 31st Street right here, where the Highline starts. It connects to the National Rail Line, which it used to run goods in and out of New York City from. So now we're coming on to the refurbished area. This is the start of Section 2. So here's what, when they came up on the Highline, it gives you a little bit of sense of what they found. Just concrete and dirt and weeds and, of course, the rail lines. So basically what they had to do is rip all the old rail line out and then literally take the concrete out and resurface everything underneath so that these plants will be able to hold water. And then they couldn't put the tracks back down exactly the same way because it's for people to walk on and kids and so forth. But they wanted to give the sense of the old rail line. So you'll see tracks scattered throughout. The funding was through Rails to Trails help, but first the rail company that owned this, which was CSX, had to transfer it to the city, which it did for $1. So one of the things that's amazing is you would never have walked over in this part of New York City before. It was all old car garages and dilapidated buildings and somewhat dangerous tunnel traffic. What's amazing now is you can walk almost a mile and a half and not have to cross a city block, but simply walk and stroll with people, no cars, enjoy the time, and basically have a nice day kind of walking on the far west side of New York City. So a good example of a new development, basically a new apartment building being rented and promoting the fact that you could have your home next to the Highline. But it's cool. They've also had just artists kind of do some stuff, some sponsored, some not sponsored, so there's an art piece. Big tourist attraction, but one of the cool things also when the Friends of the Highline set out to do this was to try and create something that New Yorkers would love, so that people would come back to time and time again, and I'm certainly a testament to that. I live in the West Village. This area was car garages and just like a junk land, and nobody would even walk up here. Now you have buildings that people are attracted to, so beautifully designed high-rises, and it basically has brought like wealth to the community for the people who have restaurants, for the people who have businesses, and for the real estate as well. Like, this is what was here, these gas stations, and look what's now just been developed. So again, you can really get a sense of the new and the old. Now, there's nothing wrong with the old, but there wasn't activity happening here until the Highline. And what's kind of cool is these new buildings were not created by the Highline, but they were created because of the Highline. They did a whole analysis when they came up here and saw what was growing naturally. Some of the plants were trees that they actually realized had blown off of old trains that were using the freight line. So I think there were some seeds from Georgia, and there was an apple tree growing up here. So they created this little kind of flyover so you can get a feel up above the tracks a little bit. And as these plants grow over the years, the trees will start to come up around you. A few spots with elevators here so people can come up with strollers or wheelchairs or whatnot. Yeah, they're shut off for the winter, but there's two things even interesting about the design of these water fountains. Number one, they built in some audio art, so when these are on, you hit them and they have funny messages that talk to you. And then the second thing is that the water, the excess water after you're done drinking, actually feeds into here and waters the plants. They didn't have to design benches like this, you know what I mean? They did things the right way. So this is the area, this is a nice seating area, and then they have a projector over here. And so they'll have a film series where they'll just project onto this existing building. So the other cool things is just to hear birds chirping in New York City while you're walking. So again, it's done as a piece of art. these birdhouses, but they're also functional for the birds.
You excited?
This is one of the cool things also, this billboard here, they made a deal with the Highline so that every 2 months they sell it as a commercial billboard, and then for 1 month they donate the space to become art, so that gives something back to the people walking on the Highline. Right now it's a commercial billboard, but it's kind of a funny one, so not too bad. So this is another pretty amazing detail. They built kind of a step down. They've done some little speaking engagements here and so forth. But as you walk down here, you can basically walk over and look at 10th Avenue. So another cool thing are kind of just these design surprises, but there was just so much thought put into the design of the Highline. So as you look at this little area, nice seating area, but they frame the Statue of Liberty, which you can see over my shoulder in the distance.
Statue of Liberty! Statue of Liberty!
Kind of what the train used to do. It used to actually go through buildings and drop off freight. So as you see up here, the buildings were built to accommodate the trains. They would stop, they would drop off goods in the morning, and then on the way out, they would pick up goods to take back to the National Rail Line at the end of the day. If you see these hooks here, these were used as meat hooks because the trains were basically, this is known as the meat district. And basically, they would drop off the food and so forth here on the train. They're all set exactly at the height where the train would come by. But now, instead of this, we have a beautiful new hotel that was built after the Highline was developed, called the Standard Hotel, developed by Andre Balazs's company, and bringing in people from all over the world. They also use this space because it's naturally covered, and there's one other for special events where companies or individuals can rent out this space. They only do it a select amount of time, but it brings revenue into the Highline as well for maintenance. This is one of my favorite spots to be over here. They've created these kind of lounge chair areas which allow you to kind of sit out here for a long period of time, enjoy the sun overlooking the Hudson River. Again, as a person who lives in New York City with the intensity of cars and traffic and smog and whatnot, to be able to have an escape like this is incredible. At night, the Highline is also spectacular, and one of the things that the designers of the park thought through was, instead of putting lights up overhead, like most parks and parking lots and so forth, what happens when you put the lights overhead is if you try and look up, the light beams down into your eyes and you can't see much. But they put the lights down at waist level so that it would light the path where you walk, but your head would be up above the lights, and you can enjoy the night sky, the lights of New York City skyline, and really get a sense that you're out of an urban environment. So another project inspired by the Highline, there's big construction going on here. A new Whitney Museum is being built right here at the entrance to the Highline. So this is the end of the line, so to speak. I say so to speak because the Highline actually used to go down another 2 miles. You can see through the building over here that it was actually filled in after the Highline was cut back over the years, and the entire Highline was almost demolished just 15 years ago. And it took vision to basically come up with an idea and invite a community of designers and architects from around the world to submit ideas for what would be possible. And then it takes visionaries from the government and the community and the leaders to say, let's make this real. And let's turn this into something that will attract people and will show the vibrancy of our city and our culture and our community, taking something from the past and turning it into something that can be enjoyed well into the future.